ladies and gentlemen, good people of Fan Nation. It is technically day 2, but today is the big day. The college seniors from all around the country are here now. They have checked in. They've done their offensive and defensive seminars, and here with me for this big event the next 3 days. They're going to showcase their skills at College Gridiron Showcase. It's Shane Bowman from University of Washington. Welcome, man. How you doing?
Doing good. Excited to be here. Excited for the opportunity to compete against some of the top guys and get my name out there and, just learn more and take away from the experience.
So segue into first question, which is what brought you here. You've said exposure, obviously. So, you played at a collegiate level for a very reputable school, University of Washington, but what brought you from up in the Seattle area down here to Fort Worth, Texas?
I'd heard about CGS through a few family friends and agents, and they told me that it was a great opportunity for me, and I had to take it. I couldn't turn that down, so real happy to be out here. Really looking forward to learning and taking away from this great experience.
What are you looking to accomplish down here over the next 3 days?
I'm looking to get my name out there. I'm a guy that missed some games this year with a foot injury, so I missed more than half the season, and I'm looking to get more exposure, get opportunities to talk to NFL scouts, and just in general get myself out there and build my brand for myself so that I can pursue a future in professional football.
Yeah, what does the future mean for you? Because obviously if you're here, it's because you're looking to go down every avenue, exhaust every resource that you have to make sure that your name gets the best possible look that you can going into that next step. So for you, this being the first part of the new year, you're getting ready for combines, you're getting ready for, pro days, all that stuff. What is this step one in a series of long steps to ensuring that you get that next level?
Yeah, for sure. This is just step one and, getting myself out there, showing people what I can do. And I think that there'll be a bunch of opportunities that I just got to take and build upon, because this is a once-in-a-lifetime thing, and you only get one shot at this NFL thing. So stuff like CGS or anything else that might come up is huge for anybody that's in a position like I am at getting exposure and letting teams see what I'm capable of. So, yeah.
Now, you went to UW, but where were you from originally?
I'm from Chicago, Illinois. I moved over there when I was in about 6th grade. My dad had a job change, so I've been over in Seattle since, and I decided to stay home and go to school at UW just because I love the Seattle area and what the program had to offer. And, I had a great time over there, and,
there's a lot of guys that will go to great lengths to get from where they are to the college that they want to go. You stayed local, but it's not like it was some, community college or some small school. It was UW in the Pac-12. How was that experience for you?
It was great. I got to compete against some of the best guys in the world and play for some of the best coaches out there. I think that it really helped build me up to who I am today, and the experiences that I've had have helped shape me into the kind of player that I am. So I really am glad that I had the opportunity to go through, adversity like everyone else does, but also have those experiences that teach me about, life and how I got to go about it by being a professional football player,
What did it mean to you to be a Husky?
Being a Husky was awesome, man. Everyone in the city is behind you. There's a whole bunch of dog fans, and they're crazy, and we got a huge stadium, so they sell that out every game, and it was just awesome being a part of that.
Now, I'm from Washington as well, eastern side, so we're in, obviously eastern Washington has done a lot better lately, so it's not so much Cougar country anymore, but it still technically is. You, growing up in that area, seeing the Pac-12 and its history, getting to play in Apple Cups, what was that like?
They're always – people talk about how they don't really know about the rivalry unless you're in it, and I guess that's one of the biggest rivalries out there because it's always pretty serious every year. We always have guest speakers come in, and it's probably the most emotional and like locked-in week we have. I know every game should be the same, but Apple Cup is just different for Huskies.
It really is.
It's just a game that you can't lose, and I've never lost to Washington State, me or that senior class. And
that's crazy, man.
Every week it was like every time we played, Wazoo was just you'd rather die than lose that game. So that's kind of how we approached it.
Yeah,
it definitely paid off.
I understand that for sure.
That was definitely the attitude is you don't lose the Wazoo if you're a UW Husky.
So going back to the CGS and what you're going to be starting with today over the next several days, weeks, months to the NFL draft and everything, sometimes guys in college will play a certain position, and then going into a more skills showcase and kind of one-on-one, they'll maybe say, or they'll find a rhythm with another, or they'll be referred to another position. But your defense, and you like being defense, or are you in the position you're sticking with?
I think I could play all up and down the defensive line, so all the way from, a shade to the outside rusher. So wherever they feel like they can put me, I think that I could excel in those areas.
Fair enough. You got an NFL team that you would prefer? I know Seattle's known for taking local boys. So,
my parents, and I don't have much family in Seattle, but they obviously want me to stay close. But I don't have any preference of team. I just
you just want to be there.
I just want a shot somewhere, and I'll make the most of that.
Well, hey man, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah,
I wish you the best of luck.
Appreciate it.
All right, thank you. It was Shane Bowman, University of Washington.
Thank you.
Huskies.
Appreciate it.
All right, man. Thank you. All right, Fan Nation, we've got another one from the University of Washington because as a local native to the Pacific Northwest, I felt it was my duty to get as many of you guys for some local representation as we could. I have Tevis Bartlett from UW. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Just kind of enjoying the process, taking it all in right now.
Yeah, you guys had a long morning, some speeches, some seminars. How'd that go for you?
It was good. I mean, just learned a lot about the financial aspect of it, kind of what the agents do. And then, kind of got some inside information, from people that have been in the front office and kind of how how they grade people, what their process on the other side looks like. So it was definitely very informative and, just trying to take lots of notes and, apply it to what I'm doing.
I imagine you guys hear a lot of the same thing, kind of like preaching to the choir at some point. But, you guys are young athletes that obviously you're here for a reason. You want to make sure that you have exhausted every resource and option that you have to you. I imagine that's what brought you to CGS. Is that accurate?
Yeah, what's really cool about this one that I think is different from a lot of the other, like the NFLPA game and those games is like all the seminars and stuff we did this morning, kind of, the information part of it. And we figured, because it's kind of right after the season, it'd be a good experience to go through and learn. And then that way, the next, couple months we kind of have, some information to pull from. And so that plus, like you said, it's a good opportunity to play against some really, really good players and kind of show, what else I can do.
Yeah, Jose, the one of the co-founders of this, I asked him, I said, what is it that makes CGS special? Because, I started my podcast and my show because I wanted to do things kind of differently than ESPN had started to mold into, kind of a TMZ Sports. Mm-hmm. And he said that he started his for a similar reason, that you have like the Senior Bowl and the All-Star Bowls and all these bowls, but, you have these guys that you're only seeing offense for half the game and defense for half the game, and then the guys that are, second string or whatever, they might even get a chance to get out there. He said, this is not a game. It is you guys showcasing your skills out there in front of NFL scouts and scouts from the AAF, one of the new leagues, and several other entities out there. So he said you can either do a bowl game, and you still can, but you can also come to CGS and kind of get that one-on-one, and then most importantly that knowledge that you guys got this morning. So I think you guys are in for very informative and very great experience for the next 3 days. And so hopefully you guys, this is just one more thing to add to that resume. Like, is that kind of how you see it?
Yeah,
resume
absolutely.
builder?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, it's really a unique setting too, where they give us pretty much, this entire afternoon is going to be talking with scouts, and just being able to get in front of them and kind of let them know who we are before pro day even, because a lot of people, that's the first time they're going to be able to actually sit down and talk with these guys. And so I think overall it's a great resume builder. It's a great experience, and at the end of the day, like, I've met a bunch of cool guys already that hope the best for and get to kind of root for as they go on, as you go on. And so it's a pretty cool, unique setting. Everybody knows that we're all here trying to do the same thing, so it's a lot of fun.
And your defense, right?
Yep.
Which I love. I'm a pro defense guy. So after the seasons that you've had and your tenure at UW, is talking one-on-one to a scout, is that literally the only thing left that could intimidate a guy on the defense like you?
Yeah, I don't even know what to expect. I know that, from some of the guys that come back that, throughout the years, they'll come back and be like, yeah, they ask just these weird questions, and it's
I've heard some. Like,
and
what?
So, yeah, it's not like, I've done a job interview before multiple times, but this is a totally different kind of job interview where they're, asking tons of different questions just to see how you think, see how you react, stuff like that. And so, we've already filled out probably, 5 or 6 questionnaires since we've been here.
Jeez.
Done, the psych test, the reaction test, all the different things. And, I've only been here for about 24 hours. So, it's an exciting kind of weird. I don't know if I would say intimidated. I'm just going to go be myself and, hope that's
all
good
you really
enough.
can do.
Yeah, right? They already know most of what they want to know about you. They just want to know if, that's what you're going to tell them.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I talked with your guy, Bowman. Of course, he said he was kind of a local. Where are you from originally?
I'm from Wyoming.
Wyoming,
Yep.
Okay. So,
Yep.
It wasn't exactly fish out of water to go to Pacific Northwest, even though Seattle's a bit different of an environment culturally.
Yeah, it was a great experience. That was one of the big things. I wanted to kind of change it up. I had some offers from, like, Utah and Iowa that are great places, but very similar to Cheyenne, Wyoming. And so, to go to Seattle, still outdoorsy, but just totally different, culturally. The city, it's a city versus rural, right? Like, but I learned a ton of stuff just about life in general. The food out there is amazing. Salmon, wherever you want to go. It's
right.
It's the best around. And
Great
so,
seafood.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, it was definitely a different experience. But it was something that I've, definitely took a lot, not just, football-wise, but in life as well. Now,
I'm going to ask you what it was like to be a Husky, but I want you to keep in mind that really the question is, we have rivalry in college football, right? In all of sports, but it's sort of its own beast at the collegiate level of football. And when it comes to the Apple Cup, that can make or break either of your guys' seasons, you or Wazoo. So what was that like, your tenure there, just to be a Husky and have that rivalry game on the calendar each year?
I think, and I was a transplant, right? Like, I didn't know really about the Apple Cup until I got to Washington. But I can just tell that, I think every year there was, something at stake. I'm pretty sure my freshman year it was like if Wazoo won, they were going to go to the championship.
Yeah.
And then my sophomore year, it was the winner went. And then last year, 2 years ago, it was if Wazoo won, then they were going, right? And then last year it was the same thing, winner goes. And so to have that on top of a rivalry game was just, it's incredible. It's one of the best things. Like that's why everybody goes to the Pac-12 or to any school to play football, is for games like that, to go, be in these championship games, these other big games. And it was a lot of fun playing against those. Those guys are, college football is a different thing. Like, people, they always want to be kind of critical or whatever, and everybody else knows the answers. But, you ask any college football player, they kind of sympathize with each other regardless of we're rivals or not. We all know we're trying to, go out there and
get
compete
to that next level.
and do your best. And so playing against those guys was a ton of fun. And especially this last year, that was so awesome for, our last regular season game to be a snow game, where it was two really good teams. And I know that for, probably 60 to 70% of the guys on the field, that was the first time they had ever seen snow, let alone playing in it. So It was definitely a lot of fun the last couple years playing there.
Well, hey, man, I wish you the best of luck. You guys represent Pacific Northwest well. It's been a pleasure to have you on. So, once again, Tevis Bartlett, UW. Go Huskies, man.
Thank you.
Take care. All right, Fan Nation, continuing our interviews here on day 2, but the first official day of the college seniors arriving. I'm here with Kevin Thompson of Bethune-Cookman University, man. Welcome. How you doing?
How you doing today? I'm glad. It's a pleasure just to be here, Just happy to, just have a chance to talk to somebody.
Be interviewed by media for the CGS?
Yeah. It's just a great opportunity that presents itself. I'm going to take full advantage of it.
What brings you here, CGS? What made you feel like this was a good move to start out your 2019?
Well, unfortunately, I'm an under-the-radar type guy, so it's a great chance to get some exposure.
Absolutely.
And just showcase my talent amongst the schools that's here with the talent, and just show scouts, even though I'm from a small school, I can ball.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm from Washington. We've got Eastern Washington University. Guys like Cooper Kupp, Kendrick Bourne came out of there, and look how well they do, man. I mean, it's like, smaller schools produce big talent, too.
Yeah, also, at the smaller school, it give you a bigger drive. It make you more hungry for things that other players are presented with the opportunity of having, like the luxury of, like, weight rooms, the shakes and things like that, the things that other schools have that you don't. You just want to go out and grind harder so you can get them things.
CGS is the first combine-like event that happens once we hit the new year. 2019, you're here. I mean, bowl season hasn't even really wrapped up. I mean, it has, but there's the championship, right? And so you guys are fresh off the field, and you're here, and you do strike me as a hungry guy. You're here for more exposure, the opportunity, because you believe that you have the talent that can make it at that next level.
Yes, sir.
What is it that you bring that's different from everybody else? Personality, skill set, I don't care. Let me have it.
Well, personally, I bring the type of work ethic that's not going to be matched. I'm outwork anybody. I'm gonna work hard. I'm gonna grind, and on the field, I'm everywhere. My motor never stops running. I'm gonna get to the ball. And I'm gonna create havoc for the quarterback. So those type of things I feel like stand me apart from other players.
You defensive guys are always hungry. I love it. I'm a pro defensive guy, so I love seeing you guys do well and get to the quarterback. My favorite part of the game is the momentum swing on an interception or a strip sack fumble. You live for those moments.
Man,
right?
Listen, the ability to just change the game, like make your presence felt on the game, like a strip sack, a fumble, anything that can get your team going. Momentum is real when it comes to football because as a team, you feed off each other.
So let me ask you something then. Personal opinion, I'm not going to hold anything against you, but obviously you guys are here because you want to get to the NFL. So you guys watch the NFL week in and week out. You see the double-digit scores on Monday night between teams like the Rams and the Chiefs. It seems like defense is almost like a thing of the past. How does that make you feel, being defense, wanting to get to that next level and terrorize a quarterback?
Well, nowadays, the game's changing. So the quarterback's actually getting paid to throw. So they sit back there and they throw.
They got all day.
So, now that the game is changing, is better for me, better for people like me that's pass rushers, to create havoc, just to make an impact on the game, like something similar to Khalil Mack or Von Miller, just changing the game.
Is Khalil Mack your MVP this season, or Defensive Player of the Year at least?
Yes. I like Khalil Mack because, he went to a different team, and not only did he go to a different team, he outdid his old team, like with sacks, numbers, just making his impact felt. And it's not a game that you can say you watched that Khalil Mack did not make an impact in the game.
We hear a lot when it comes to the offensive side of the ball, especially the quarterback, that they're a product of the system. They're a system QB, and then we'll see a guy like Brett Favre or Peyton Manning go to another team and they still excel there. You never hear that on the defensive side. You believe that you guys are kind of Swiss Army knives. You can fit into just about any scheme and be productive?
Well, yes, it just it depends on the player and how they acclimate themselves to, doing the things that they need to do to be a factor on that defense. But as far as, defense, I feel like, defensive guys, you can play with multiple systems, different personnel groups and things like that. I think it's interchangeable.
Yeah, and I completely agree. It's something, like I said, man, defense seems like a lost art, and I love defense. I really do. That part of the game is what gets me jumping off my couch, you know?
Yeah, because, offense always sells the tickets. Everybody always comes for the tickets.
Defense
wins the games and championships, They put us up. If they don't score, they can't win. That's just the fact of it, the fact of the matter.
So, down to the meat of it, why you guys are here. I mean, specifically today, because you guys got a lot on your plate. You had some seminars this morning. You got some interviews coming up after this one. I wanted to get you guys a little loose. I wanted you guys to have a little fun, open up. When you go and you sit across from that NFL scout, what do you want them to take away from that encounter with you?
Well, I just want them to take away, my character. I'm a big guy that's on character, big on loyalty. I'm just a good guy, I like just be myself, actually. So they're going to get to know me personally. They just going to know that I'm a good guy to be around. My work ethic is where it needs to be. And I'm just always hungry to be better and to get better. And I'm always perfecting chasing perfection with my craft.
Hey, man, be yourself is all that you can do. You approached me last night as I was getting ready to head out of here and go check in for the evening. So I appreciate it. It's been a pleasure to get to know you. I wish you the best of luck, man. It is.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Kevin Thompson of Bethune-Cookman. All the best, man. Good luck to you.
The great Bethune-Cookman.
All right, we are here with Ron Laforce of New Mexico State. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing great, man. I love getting to know you young players, and obviously you're here for a reason. Maybe it's another opportunity that you didn't see before, and you just want that exposure or that second chance to get your best foot forward in 2019. What brought you here, though? I'll ask you straight from the horse's mouth.
I was on a couple other lists, like Senior Bowl and NFLP. I'm on the emergency list for them, and when I got this opportunity, I got the email for the invite, and I wanted to go ahead and register, get my name on for this opportunity, because I didn't know if I was going to be able to get those. And so I just needed the opportunity, to expose myself, reassure what scouts already think about me, and just showcase my talent, show what I can do.
What position are you?
Safety, free safety.
Safety? Another defensive guy. I think I've had all defensive guys on today.
The dark side.
But I love defense, man. I don't know if you heard, but
wins championships.
It does, but it's also it's that jump off your couch moment, right? You get that interception, which I'm sure you know that feeling. Is there anything better than getting that momentum swing pick?
I don't know if anything in life feels better than interception.
If you make it to the NFL, what's the one quarterback you want to pick off first?
I've always idolized Drew Brees, so him over Tom Brady for sure.
Well, you might get that very opportunity, man. What was your college career like?
It was I started out. I went junior college. I was under recruited out of high school, and so for 2 years for a year I spent a year out in California at College of the Sequoias, and then I actually stepped away from the game for a year, and then went back out to the College Sequoias. I was back home. I actually wasn't going to play football anymore at all. And my junior college coach called me, knew I had a year of eligibility left at the junior college level. And he just really believed in my abilities and what I could do. I had some, issues going on back home. It was just stuff that made me step away from the game and go back home for a little bit. And he told me, I come back out, he felt like I was a Division I player and I could, move on to higher levels. And so I made that decision to go back out to California. I was offered by South Alabama and New Mexico State. South Alabama actually being in my hometown in Mobile. I decided not to go there because I figured it was probably best to play away from home. Went to New Mexico State, and the rest is history. I had a great 2 years out there. I actually won the Sun Belt Newcomer of the Year and got all conference my first year there. And then we was independent this past year, so I wasn't up for the all conference awards or anything like that. And possibly hurt my stock a little bit maybe. Not being mentioned like that. And we won the Arizona Bowl last year, didn't have as great of a year this year. And so I just feel like I need a bigger stage, another opportunity to be able to, reassure what I'm capable of.
So when it comes to an event like this, you got a few days here, Fort Worth, Texas. You had some seminars this morning. You're going to have some interviews later, and then you guys are going to hit the field tomorrow and the next day and really try to, showcase what you've got. But The seminars, I feel like, are kind of one of those things that you guys you have to go to, and you maybe don't look forward to it. But at the end of it, you may have taken away a lot more than you thought. Was there anything specific that stood out to you this morning in what you guys were listening to?
I mean, I kind of knew about, the percentage of players, who kind of lose track of their financial state, that side of them, after they get into the league, and then they're only there for, 3 or so years, and they find themselves, looking for a job or trying to find a way to make money. And I have a pretty good agent, all the stuff they were saying, I probably heard it 2 or 3 times before I came here. But, I mean, you can never hear this stuff enough.
Oh, yeah, especially when it comes to money management, man.
It happens to so many people, and you think you're not going to be that guy until you're in that position, and you're looking around saying, you wish you would have listened to some of this stuff.
Yeah, I remember, so they were talking about Antonio Brown on ESPN this morning, that whole situation in Pittsburgh. But one of the things that they said was that, money doesn't change people. It just amplifies, like, who you are as a person. You seem like you've got a pretty level head. Like, if you got a bunch of money, it'd be like, well, I already go fishing, so I just go fishing more in, like, a nicer boat.
Yeah, for sure. Growing up, I mean, I'm from the water down there in Alabama, and so I've always been in the seafood business, and we've never had, a buttload of money. And so I always told myself, stay true to who I am if I ever, run into it, and I'll just appreciate it more than maybe some other guys wouldn't. And I've just seen people down where I'm from change who they are or amplify, like you said, who they really was once they run into somebody like that. And just my family and where I've come from, how I was raised, I felt like I would always stay true to it. And because I ain't no stranger to hard work. I mean, I've worked a job since I was 12 years old. And so I just really know how to take my money and use it to better myself.
I feel like you're kind of a silent but deadly, because you're a safety and you're very calm and collected. Now, when you go and interview with a scout, you feel like that's going to be their takeaway? Like, how do you want to present yourself to them?
I don't want to come off too erratic or anything like that.
Well, that hasn't happened right now, so I think you're good there.
I feel like just my demeanor shows exactly how I am when I'm under pressure. I don't fold, I don't get to thinking too much. It's just basically react off of stuff you've done your entire life. Kobe Bryant always said, nervousness comes from not preparing the right way. So if you prepare the right way, I feel like there's nothing to worry about when it comes to interviews, when it comes to a scout asking you questions, when it comes to being in the Super Bowl and you're trying to make a big-time play. Just, same level-headed, make the plays you can make.
Who's the guy that you idolized at the position?
There's a few guys. Obviously, being a white defensive back, I idolize, some of the guys with a dime breed because it ain't too many of us at the position. I like Eric Weddle.
I was going to say Eric Weddle.
I watch him play a lot, a little undersized, because I feel like, that's probably a knock on me, probably a minus, when it comes to grading me is, just height. Probably could put on more weight. I got a frame where I could put on more weight once I get to that level. I've never had any problems with injury or anything like that. Played at 185, in college and never really was hurt too much, anything like that. Little nicks and bruises. John Lynch is always a name that comes to mind.
Yeah.
He was a dog back there. And so, a couple guys like that. Harrison Smith, he kind of just, he's up and coming, kind of just got a lot of hype here recently, last couple of years, but he's a taller, bigger guy, and so I really just can't relate to him when it comes to my game. But I feel like I have that type of athletic ability to be able to make plays like Harrison Smith makes. I wouldn't call myself, at making 226 tackles in 2 years. You'd think, he's, hustle player, makes a lot of tackles, but I think my athletic ability is really slept on, and I want to be able to showcase that at a game like this.
Well, I know it's a different position, but I mean, if guys like Cole Beasley and Cooper Kupp can come from small schools and be little white guys and go out there and crush it, I mean, there's no reason you can't at the defensive side. I mean, it'd be tough, but I feel like you're the kind of guy that just elevates your competitive edge, and you want to go out there and you got something to prove.
Exactly. I always have that chip on my shoulder, and I pride myself in that.
Hey, man, there's nothing wrong with that. I feel ya. All right, well, Ron, man, hey, it's a pleasure. Best of luck to you, man.
Yes, sir.
Go crush it in those interviews.
Thank you.